Help us fight for life and train the CSRA. Contact the American Heart Association for details.
On your side, this is News 12 at 6 o'clock.
We've heard it can happen. Now we're hearing about a severe COVID case in an 11-year-old girl right here at home. But luckily, there's some good news. Plus, x-rays of lungs damage from COVID. Doctors say at least half of people who get the virus will have issues like this that stay with them. And parents struggling to cope with the loss of their son.
Your brain doesn't quite register. You're not sure what you heard.
A heartbreaking loss for those parents, along with the family and friends of the two other teens killed in the crash on Monday. We're just getting a picture of their son today. Matthew Whitfield was just 17 years old. Andrew Clements was also 17. We have not gotten his picture yet. We showed you Bailey Widener's picture yesterday. She was 18 years old. Our Nick Proto spoke with Matthew's family today as they go through the unthinkable.
This memorial has started to form here at the crash site. A cross with Andrew, Bailey, and Matthew's names on it sits here surrounded by a dozen roses. Now, I spoke with Bailey's mom yesterday, and today I got the chance to speak with Matt's parents. They didn't want to be on camera during the interview, but they did wear a microphone.
He was growing into being a fine young man.
Matt Whitfield's family says this has been the toughest day for them since their son lost his life Monday night. The numbness has worn off and the pain has set in.
You start talking about it, and then you say, well, did this really happen? Now it's like, I think, you're accepting it, and you start remembering, and you start the future that didn't happen type thing.
A future that was looking bright for the 17-year-old. Matt had dreams of joining the Marine Corps after high school. He was talking about wanting to move in with Bailey and Andrew, the two other teens who died in the crash. Now, his family's left lost, trying to figure out how to cope with the pain of losing a child.
You don't know, you've never done it, so you just kind of feel your way through it and hope things go better. Get better day by day.
The pain that comes back every time they walk past Matt's empty bedroom, every time they see Matt's truck in the driveway, every time Matt's phone rings as friends and classmates send messages they'll never get an answer to. But Matt's dad says the community has sent a message to the family. They are loved and they are not alone.
I was shocked just on some of the social media response of his friends, how much of an effect that he had on them.
And in his last conversation with his parents, Matt sent them a simple message that they'll take with them forever.
He said he'd be home. He said, I love you.
They say that's what Matt Whitfield was all about. Love. Love for his family, love for his truck, love for hunting, and love for his friends, especially Bailey and Andrew.
They were all three good kids.
It was really blossoming into a good friendship between the three of them.
And that blossoming friendship will now be tied together forever. In Augusta, Nick Proto, on your side.
You didn't even have to see that dad's face. You could hear the pain in his voice. Our hearts are with them tonight. Let's take a look outside to weather. This is a look over Walton Way. It looks incredible out there. Riley, you're tracking some rain, but most of us will stay % of their total staff there. But as kids start heading back to school, we're reminded coronavirus can still affect children. We're learning about a severe case of COVID-19 for an 11-year-old girl right here at home. Her name is Destiny Satterwhite. She's been fighting the virus for 3 weeks. Her family tells us it's been a struggle, but they recently got some good news.
It all started when my chest in my head started hurting.
Destiny Satterwhite's COVID battle can be described as if it were a literal fight.
Like somebody was punching me in my chest.
After what felt like endless blows, her mom counts the 11-year-old as a champion.
She'll jump up, she'll hold her chest, she might scream, but she never cried.
The 6th grader is ready to get back to school and have some sense of normal.
Yes, ma'am.
Since the last 3 weeks have been anything but.
For her to be in pain, and I can't do nothing about it.
AU doctors monitored her breathing and heartbeat, went through EKG screenings, even having to give Destiny a shot to help with all the chest and head pain. The 6th grader lost all taste and smell for the past few weeks. The Satterwhite family also lost stability, mom unable to go to work through all of this.
I'm having to tell bill collectors I can't right now because my daughter has COVID. And some people understand, but you got the ones that's mandatory monthly.
But Alfreda says being a mother first is the mandatory job. In the two-state region, health officials have seen a jump in COVID cases among children, although most have mild symptoms and only a couple hundred children have been hospitalized across both states. Georgia data shows children make up about 20,000 coronavirus positives right now. In South Carolina, kids account for less than 15%. With fewer numbers on children, there are more unknowns.
It's so much that comes with the COVID. You have so many symptoms that it's just scary overall.
For the 11-year-old, there was a lot of fear and pain, a lot of coming and going to the hospital and leaning on a strength she did not know she had.
Be strong and pray.
A trait she likely learned from mom.
I got a strong faith. I don't depend on man, I depend on God.
The family says they're now focused on recovery while doctors use their case to help gather more data on COVID's effect in kids. We've seen hundreds of thousands of cases just in Georgia and South Carolina alone, but even for the ones who do recover, we're learning about some alarming new research. Doctors found at least half of people who get the virus, if not more, will experience issues that stay with them even after they recover. Wrdw talked to AU Health as they plan to address the problem locally.
You hear about COVID and most people likely think it's 10 to 14 days and you're done. AU says they're learning that's not the case, and they keep seeing patients coming back. The mystery of COVID is getting clearer, but not by much, as hospitals see patients that should have COVID in their past.
There's definitely some kind of chronic syndrome that's being seen. This is all pneumonia over here.
Dr. Jose Vasquez is the chief of infectious disease at the Medical College of Georgia. He estimates anywhere from 60 to 80% of those with COVID will have a post-COVID syndrome from weeks to months. The most common symptoms being chronic fatigue, shortness of breath, aches and joint pain, and a brain fog, but also lung damage.
There's the ground glass opacity, and this is a huge, again, ground glass. You see it all ground glass. And this is a huge pneumonia infiltrate.
Underlying inflammation that is likely chronic, a telltale sign of a recent COVID infection.
We may be able to diagnose it. We don't know what to do with it yet.
Studies from Italy and the UK both make their findings pretty clear. And so many people keep coming back with issues at AU that they're planning to open a post-COVID clinic to handle the referrals to a specialist.
Some patients need to go see the pulmonary doctor because of the shortness of breath and chest pain.
Others may need a neurologist. But the questions about COVID aren't going away anytime soon. There's still so much doctors don't know.
The only thing that we know that goes away is fever.
AU officials tell me they plan to open a post-COVID clinic in a couple weeks. We'll have those details for you when we get them. Reporting in Augusta, Wrdw on your side.
AU Health did tell us that most of their patients admitted to the ICU have not been going home from the hospital. They're sent to nursing homes or care facilities because the damage is so severe. Taking a look now at our used to seeing 2,300 new cases in Georgia today. 56 more people died. In South Carolina, just 700 new cases today. 17 more people died. AU Health will remember a beloved member of their community who lost her battle with COVID-19. Ilana Kaur was a nurse at AU Health for 13 years. She died the weekend before last. Tomorrow morning, they will honor her memory. They're holding a balloon release at 8 a.m. at the C entrance of AUMC across from the VA hospital by the flagpoles. Kids in Richmond County are set to go back to school in 3 weeks, and today we're learning they will have to wear masks. The school district decided on a mask requirement in hallways, public areas, and buses. That goes for both students and staff. Meanwhile, Aiken County students start back in less than 2 weeks. They also have a mask mandate following state requirements. Details on both of those mask mandates are on our website. 43 more laptops. That's apparently what the Richmond County School District is asking for to provide kids with the necessary technology to learn from home. This was posted on the Augusta Metro Chamber's Facebook page. We told you earlier this week, any students who were signed up for virtual learning after August 3rd but don't have the necessary equipment will have to take in-person classes according to the district. We're working to find out if those 43 laptops is all they need to cover those kids. Meanwhile, the district is still handing out devices for students who were signed up before the extended deadline. Today was the last day for high schools, and tomorrow is the first day of pickups for middle schoolers. We're getting our first look inside a South Carolina school ahead of the new year. This is W.E. Parker Elementary School over in Edgehill County. You can see hand sanitizer stations, social distance stickers, and blocking off every other seat in the cafeteria. Students in Edgehill County go back to class on Monday. Just like in Aiken County and across South Carolina, masks will be required in public areas, buses, and anywhere social distancing is not possible. Nearly all South Carolina students are now accounted for after thousands were not heard from when the state went completely virtual back in March. State officials say in the last 21 days they've heard from more than 2,000 students, but more than 700 students are still unaccounted for. Officials reached out to about 400 of them with no response. The state still hasn't reached out to more than 300 others.
The pandemic is leaving people behind, vulnerable populations, and there's going to be increased gaps and equity gaps. And we are focused on, physical safety, but we need to be thinking long-term about these gaps that may exist.
The Department of Social Services says they plan on sharing another report the first week of September.
Isolated